Hello there guys, welcome to another of my videos. On this video there is lots to negotiate about. So, Manchester United could sell Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof in this summer transfer window. Now, I have analysed Lindelof and Harry Maguire's season, and I think they've had some good games and they've also had some bad games. Now, obviously, I thought Lindelof and Harry Maguire were both very poor yesterday against Sevilla. Victor Lindelof, made far too many errors at the back, and he was also accountable for Sevilla's winner. And Victor Lindelof, has endured 3 years at Manchester United. Obviously, we got him from Benfica back in 2017 for around £30 million. We did get him under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, Victor Lindelof did struggle for that consistency in his first season. But I think last season, the season that's just gone, aspects of his game have improved. But there's still a lot of aspects of his game that I've got to improve now. And he's obviously not a world-class centre-half. So if we were to sell him, we'd probably want to at least recoup the £30 million that we did pay for him from Benfica, because, we are in search for a centre-half, basically, and Paul Scholes believes that, Victor Lindelof is not good enough for Manchester United. Also, to Harry Maguire, I think that Solskjaer's got to take the captaincy off him. We've made a mistake by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy because he isn't showing any leadership whatsoever. I think we've probably got to give the captaincy to maybe Bruno Fernandes or maybe give it to Paul Pogba, but we've got to definitely take it off Harry Maguire. Like I said, Maguire has had some good games, he's had some bad games. Obviously, you can say we overpaid for Harry Maguire as well. Obviously, we got him last summer from Leicester for £80 million. So he's the second most expensive signing at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. Harry Maguire has scored 3 goals for the club, I think. He scored in the 2-0 win against Chelsea. He scored in the 6-0 win against Tranmere. And he also scored in the 2-1 win against Norwich in the FA Cup quarter-final. So they are 2 players that Manchester United could sell in this summer transfer window. Now, Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish to Manchester United is looking very unlikely. Now, we'll start with the news on Sancho. So, Borussia Dortmund's CEO, he's come out and said that, Borussia Dortmund don't have to sell Sancho in this summer transfer window, despite the fact that Dortmund have lost around £45 million. Now, Borussia Dortmund did recently win 11-2. Was it against Austria Wien or something like that, if I've pronounced it correctly? But Borussia Dortmund have had a good start to their pre-season. But Borussia Dortmund's CEO did say not too long ago that, Jadon Sancho is staying at Borussia Dortmund. So he's saying the exact same thing as what Michael Zorc said, the Borussia Dortmund sporting director, because he also said that Sancho will stay at Dortmund and the decision is final. And he did actually say that Dortmund secretly extended Sancho's contract until 2023. But obviously, we did miss out on the deadline to sign him because Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August to sign Jadon Sancho. I knew Sancho at Man United was likely to be off when obviously, when he boarded a plane to Switzerland to join their pre-season training camp. But I think there's a lot of Manchester United fans now that are convinced that Sancho won't be coming to Manchester United in this summer transfer window. But I have said throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block, because Dortmund have said that they want over £100 million. Also, too, we've said we're not willing to pay, Dortmund's valuation. I think it said we was only willing to pay like 60 or 70 million up front, but I think Dortmund were looking for like 90 million up front, but their valuation's around £108 million. Now, obviously, the other week, it was looking very, very imminent that we was going to be signing Sancho, because you had Fabrizio Romano, who is a very reliable Italian journalist. He said that negotiations between United and Borussia Dortmund were at an advanced stage, and he said that Sancho agreed personal terms with Man United, and he said he was set to sign a 5-year deal with a football club worth around 250 grand a week. But Fabrizio Romano's spoken about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga quite a few times. Obviously, James Cooper came out recently and gave us a positive update on Sancho, and he says that Man United don't miss out on players that, they intend on signing. Obviously, Sancho is our number one priority target. But we're the only club that are in for him now anyway, because Liverpool are no longer in for him, Chelsea are no longer in for him. He did recently say that Real Madrid and Barcelona had entered the race and they could go in for him next year if we fail to sign him in this summer transfer window. But I give you the main explanations why I wanted Man United to sign Sancho is because he's got a very good friendship with Rashford. He would dramatically improve us, and he's predominantly a right winger. And Man United, of course, are in search for a right winner. Obviously, I think if Sancho did come to the Premier League, he would exceed expectations. Obviously, before he was at Dortmund, he was at Man City. He enjoyed a few years with Man City, but the main explanation why he left City is because he did not get any first-team opportunities. And before he was at City, he was at Watford. And he was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. But Sancho has enjoyed 3 good years in Germany with Dortmund. Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Man City, so Dortmund got him for next to nothing. But analyse his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. We did make a promise to him as well that we was willing to offer him the number 7, and I think he would have fulfilled our number 7 really, really well. Obviously, we've got number 7 vacant at the moment, but we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. We've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations and all of that. But I think, Sancho's the 3rd player now we have missed out on under OleSolskjaer, because don't forget we missed out on Erling Haaland in January. Dortmund got him. We also missed out on Jude Bellingham from Birmingham. So yeah, it is disappointing, but we have been looking at a lot of alternatives to Sancho, because I will make an admission, he is much cheaper solutions than him. We've been looking at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona recently. We've also been looking at Thiago Almeida. We've been looking at Douglas Costa from Juventus. We've been looking at Vinicius Jr. We've been looking at Rabbi Matondo. Federico Chiesa from Fiorentina, we've also looked at him. We have looked at quite a few alternatives, but Dortmund did say the other week that they'd come to accept the fact that Sancho wanted to leave, so there was in the market looking for a replacement for him. But Sancho did actually say that he wants to come to Manchester United and that. I don't think we're giving up on the signing of Sancho. Ed Woodward did say that he expects this Jadon Sancho transfer saga to continue for the entirety of this summer transfer window. But I said, if we would have met Borussia Dortmund's valuation, Sancho would have been our most expensive signing, and he would have been the most expensive British player in history. So so that's the news on him. Jack Grealish. It's also unlikely now that Manchester United are going to be signing him, because recent reports have said now we have cooled our interest in Jack Grealish. Obviously, Villa have named their asking price. Villa have said that they do want £80 million. So Villa do remain ruthless over their valuation. Don't forget, Jack Grealish was recently doing training sessions in Greece because he's on holiday, or has been on holiday. And he did say that he was set to hold talks with Aston Villa's chief executive, Christian Purslow, regarding his future. But it does actually mention as well that we're not discussing a deal to recommend, Jack Grealish into the football club. We're looking at other transfer targets. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd take Jack Grealish at Manchester United. The main explanations why I'd want Man United to get him in is because he's well proven in the Premier League. His stats have been very, very good throughout the course of the season, and he's also very, very versatile. And he's Jack Grealish, 24 years of age. Now, up until this point, he has spent the entirety of his career with Villa. He has been a Villa player since the age of 6. And he has been in their senior squad since 2014. And since then has become an integral part of their team as Jack Grealish. And he's got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023. So I think actually, Jack Grealish is going to, stay at Aston Villa for another season. Because obviously Aston Villa have avoided relegation. If Aston Villa would have got relegated, then I would have fully assured that Jack Grealish would have left them. It did say before that we was willing to more than double Jack Grealish's wages. But Sancho and Grealish, obviously they're going to cost us nearly £200 million for both players. And I don't think we've ever spent £200 million in one transfer window, obviously. So that's the breaking news on that. Now, I just want to talk with you about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, I think Manchester United do need to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because I think he has been getting a lot of criticism recently. There's some Manchester United fans that are saying, we should sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But if we sacked Solskjaer, that wouldn't solve any problems. Now, obviously, we lost yesterday to Sevilla by 2-1 in the Europa League semi-final. Obviously, it was our third semi-final defeat this season because don't forget, we lost to Man City in the EFL Cup semi-final and we also lost to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. And like Solskjaer said prior to the game against Sevilla, semi-finals are not good enough. And it's also now the third season in a row we have not won a major trophy, and I think that's the first time since like the late 1980s. So maybe some of the pressure will be back on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now. Obviously, earlier on in the Premier League season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season for 30 years, and at that point, Solskjaer was very, very close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager. But obviously, don't forget, we are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. We haven't lost in the league since Burnley. And we haven't lost, since January. And don't forget as well, we did go on a 19-game unbeaten run until Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-final. But I wanted us to beat Sevilla yesterday. And I wanted Man United to actually, get to the final and also win the Europa League. I give you the main explanations why I wanted us to win the Europa League. Because obviously, it would have been our first trophy under Solskjaer. Our first trophy in over 3 years. And obviously, it would have put more confidence into the team. But you saw my match reaction this morning, and I actually thought that we played very, very well yesterday. We had a lot of chances in the game. We just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. I had the likes of Anthony Martial, had some very good chances. Rashford, he had some good chances, but he was actually quite poor. Paul Pogba, he created good chances in the game. Mason Greenwood, he had a good game. He also had a big chance in the game. Obviously, it was good to see Bruno Fernandes getting his name on the score sheet again. Obviously, it was a penalty. Marcus Rashford, was the one that got the penalty because he got fouled by Diego Carlos. And I think that's our 22nd penalty this season. I think Bruno Fernandes scored all our penalties so far. But, Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. I think now he's at 12 goals in all competitions this season. Since he came in January. 8 goals now in Europe. Don't forget he's won Premier League Player of the Month like 3 times, reflecting on his good run of performances. And I thought he had a good game yesterday night against Sevilla, Bruno Fernandes. He had a very, very good game. Brandon Williams, I thought he had a poor game yesterday against Sevilla, but it was a big game for Brandon Williams because it was his first European semi-final as a senior player. Obviously, it was his third semi-final this season, because don't forget he played in the semi-final against Chelsea in the FA Cup and played in the EFL Cup semi-final against Manchester City in that. Like I said, Fred, he also enjoyed a very, very good game. He was very mobile, kept the ball well, passed the ball well as well. So I was very, very delighted with him. I was actually surprised at Solskjaer selecting David De Gea for the game. I actually thought I'd have stuck with Sergio Romero, because obviously Sergio Romero has played all our League Cup games this season. He's played all our FA Cup games this season prior to the semi-final. He's played our Europa League games, I think, apart from yesterday. So there you go. There's questions as well. Why did it take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer so late, to bring a substitution on? But definitely some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's decision making is very, very questionable. Obviously, throughout for the vast majority of the Premier League season, Solskjaer, was very, very tactically naive, but there was some games, where he showed tactical flexibility. But I expected Man United to beat Sevilla yesterday. I really, really did. I really, really did expect us to beat them. Obviously, I didn't take out for granted, though, because I know how much of a good team that Sevilla are. Sevilla are now into the Europa League final. They've won the competition 5 times. They are the record holders. They're unbeaten now in their last 20 games. They haven't lost since early February. And they did finish 4th in La Liga this season. Sevilla only didn't beat us yesterday. They also beat us in the last 16 of the Champions League back in 2018. They had beaten us by 2-1. But I thought what cost us the game was our defence. Because like I mentioned on my attraction mentioned earlier on this video, Lindelof, too many errors. Maguire, very poor. Definitely Wan-Bissaka was out of position for both of Sevilla's goals. Brandon Williams, I think, was accountable for one of their goals as well. So there you go. But I'm not going to be, say Ollie out. I think Man United have got to give him more time at the football club, because you can say he's enjoyed a good first full season at Man United. At least Solskjaer, did get us qualification for the Champions League. And I did say, didn't I, how important Champions League qualification was for our players, attracting players, and for the financial structure. I think we got like an extra £70 million in revenue for getting qualification for the Champions League. Also, too, he did get us third place, which I also thought was a fantastic achievement, and also got us to 3 semi-finals. But obviously, football is all about winning trophies. But definitely Solskjaer will be Man United manager next season. Like I said, he does deserve at least another season at the club, because it is a transition period, and it has been a transition period for a while. But next season is definitely going to be the big test for him, because Solskjaer will have bigger expectations to exceed next season. And he's got to exceed these expectations to obviously remain in the Man United job. Our expectations on next season will probably to challenge for the title. We have not won the Premier League since 2013. And we want to be up there competing with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and that. But like I said, I am still backing Solskjaer, and there's quite a few Manchester United fans that are still determined to back him. Obviously, you've got Ed Woodward that's backing Solskjaer, you've got the Glazers that's backing Solskjaer and that. But, this summer transfer window is his 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Don't get me wrong, there's still improvements needed under Solskjaer. Certain players have got to improve. Like I said, his decision-making's got to improve. There's aspects of our game that I've got to improve as well. Quite frankly, Solskjaer's got to get rid of more of the deadwood, which he's going to do in this summer transfer window. So there's still improvements needed. But the improvements I've seen, I think our recruitment's definitely improved. Improved under him. We have been criticised for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've been criticised for overpaying for players. I think more or less everybody's been given their chances since Solskjaer got appointed in. Because Solskjaer did say when he got appointed in, everyone would get their chances to express themselves. I think throughout the course of the season, he has promoted the youth very, very well. Like I said, his approach to a lot of the big games throughout the course of the season have been, very, very good. So that's obviously, good to see. But yeah, there is some Man United fans saying that, we should sack him and he isn't, good enough to manage Manchester United. Obviously, he has been here, is it over a year and a half? He has learned quite a lot. Obviously, Solskjaer has now got that managerial experience behind him because Man United is the third club in his managerial career. But like I said, the vast majority of this team is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. Let's put into the equation Solskjaer's inheriting players even from the Jose Mourinho era. There's still a few players even from the Van Gaal era, Matty from the David Moyes era, and there's still a few players even from the Alex Ferguson era. But actually, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's and that. But like I've said to you before, in the last 7 years, Manchester United have been playing catch up. There hasn't only been issues with like the managers and that. There's been a catalogue of issues. Obviously, there's been cultural problems at the club. Over the years, there's been a lot of problems with Ed Woodward. There's also been a lot of problems with the Glazers. Also, in the last 7 years, we have spent close to the £1 billion range on players, and we've recruited a good 32, 33 players in since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, under David Moyes, we brought Marion Fellaini and Juan Mata. Moyes spent around 65 million at the club. Obviously, under Van Gaal, we brought around 16 players in. Under Van Gaal, I think we brought the likes of Falcalin, probably one of the worst signings Man United have made. Brought Memphis Depay in. He was a poor signing because he didn't really make an impact. Also, brought Schneiderlin, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Rojo, Damian, Herrera, Romero, Martial, Shaw. So yeah, Louis Van Gaal brought a hell of a lot of players in. I think Louis Van Gaal spent he spent a good £200 million at the club, and we did win the FA Cup under Van Gaal. And Mourinho, he recommended 11 players into Manchester United and spent, was it 400 million or just under 400 million pounds. And Mourinho did win 2 trophies in his first season. That was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season at Manchester United. But I give you the main explanations why it didn't work out in them managerial areas. The reason it didn't work out under Moyes is because obviously he was never the right manager for Man United, and Ferguson was ever at the fault for recommending him in. The reason it didn't work out under Van Gaal is because his philosophy wasn't right for the club, and the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had a bad reputation with the top players. He also had bad disputes with our board, and quite clearly the board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend in and that. But Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. So far Solskjaer has spent, is it just over £200 million at Man United? As he made, is it now 5 permanent signings? Well, a second, just pins and needles. Work there, I've got pins and needles really bad in my foot. But yeah, as I was saying, I think he has made 5 permanent signings. Yes, he has. Because we recently signed Filip Stefanovic from Partizan Belgrade and that. But he's got rid of a lot of players, Solskjaer, since he got recommended into the club, like I mentioned before. The most recent player to leave was obviously Alexis Sanchez. He joined Inter Milan on a free transfer and he joined them permanently. Angel Gomez, of course, left the football club a few months ago when he's obviously his contract expired. Obviously, Angel Gomez is now at Lille, but he immediately got loaned out to Boavista. I think it's a Portuguese side. Also, Ashley Young left this year. He went to Inter Milan after he enjoyed 8.5 years at Man United. We saw Valencia leave last summer after he enjoyed 10 years with Man United. We also saw Darmian leave last summer, he went to Parma. We saw Herrera go last summer, he went to PSG. We saw Fellaini leave in January 2019. We saw Lukaku go to Inter Milan last summer. Obviously we loaned Smalling and Rojo out, but obviously, they are now back, I think, at Manchester United. So he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in to the football club. And like I said, Solskjaer's got a goalkeeping decision to make. I think, for next season, Solskjaer has got to put Dean Henderson as our number one, because I think Dean Henderson's now reliable enough to be our number one, because he's got that experience behind him, and Dean Henderson has endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and I think he has been Sheffield United's player of the season. We're still in talks over getting Dean Henderson a new contract at the club. Dean Henderson's current contract at Man United does expire in 2022, so still is over a year left on his current deal. It did say that we'd offered him a new deal with like £60,000 a week. Dean Henderson alone, come back if he is assured to be number one. We know that De Gea has been our number one for several years. Obviously, De Gea has been was the best goalkeeper in the world, wasn't he, at one point? But I think De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. De Gea has now approached his 10th year at Manchester United and that. But Solskjaer was saying prior to the Copenhagen game that, we'll find it extremely difficult to keep Dean Henderson, David De Gea and Romero all at the football club for next season. I do believe that Luke Shaw will remain our first choice left back for next season, because obviously, Luke Shaw's more experienced than Williams. So that's what I think we're going to do. Obviously, we've got 3 injuries at the moment, and that's Phil Jones, Alex Tuanzebe and Luke Shaw. I think, they're going to be back for the new season. But, like I said, Solskjaer has outlined his transfer plans. He's obviously, instructed our board to go and get his preferred targets. Solskjaer said, he wants Man United to make at least 3 signings in this summer transfer window. And I think Ed Woodward has said he wants Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in this summer transfer window. And Solskjaer has identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. But he is now demanding more signings, after that defeat to Sevilla in the Europa League semi-final. Solskjaer was also recently talking about my young players, saying that, they have got plenty to learn about achieving consistency, and obviously know how to change a game and that. But yeah. So that's mainly everything to update you with today. And like I said, we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer came in, but we have still got 7 or 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year, so we've got to make a decision on them. But we've got to decide on what players we're going to get rid of in this summer transfer window. I think we're going to get rid of a good 6 or 7 players. The players I expect to leave is Lingard, Pereira. We know Pereira's leaving now. Smalling, Rojo, Jones and Diego Dalot. They are the players I expect to leave Man United. We'll probably as well get rid of a goalkeeper. We could possibly get rid of Eric Bailly as well. Not because he's a bad centre-half, he's just too injury-prone. And like I said, Maguire and Lindelof, if they don't improve, they also could be sold, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. But like I said, we haven't dominated English football since the Ferguson era. And I think it's going to be hard for any manager at Man United to replicate Ferguson's legacy or to last as long as Ferguson did. But, we shall see. So anyway, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.